Welcome back to our channel where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news, King Charles shocked after Andrew and Sarah Ferguson's secret property, worth $15 million exposed. An insider source reported that King Charles was astonished by the revelation of the $15 million secret palace belonging to Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, situated in Abu Dhabi. Prince Andrew's clandestine actions regarding Buckingham Palace appear to have been a premeditated strategy to confront King Charles, leading to his departure from the Royal Lodge. In this video, we shall uncover what lies inside Windsor: the Prince, the Palace, and the Precipice. An examination of the standoff involving Prince Andrew and the concealed Emirati exit route. Prince Andrew is seeking a trial by jury, a development that has caused significant upheaval in royal and legal circles. This follows his public and unequivocal denial of all allegations brought against him in a New York court. A covert, high-stakes battle of attrition is underway about his residence at Royal Lodge, Windsor, and the obstinate legal stance may be seen as indicative of a similarly resolute conflict occurring nearer to home. Nonetheless, as the pressure from Buckingham Palace escalates, a startling revelation has emerged, uncovering an unpublicized aspect of the prince's life, a clandestine residence in Abu Dhabi allegedly kept for his use and valued at several million pounds. This opulent house has been depicted as a potential sanctuary, a serene retreat from the controversies that have engulfed his public existence. It is situated far from public scrutiny and the moist chill of the English countryside. The residence, reportedly worth as much as £15 million, is an expansive property, including opulent rooms, private gardens, and security appropriate for a head of state. The property's features are astonishing. Nonetheless, its existence raises more inquiries than it provides solutions. What caused this opulent sanctuary to remain a well-kept secret? From whom did this extraordinary arrangement get funding? Furthermore, as new evidence surfaces on the enigmatic ties between Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson to the Gulf, the arrangement is eliciting greater scrutiny than ever before. This finding marks a significant turning point. The ongoing conflict between the prince and his brother King Charles III over the prince's retention of Royal Lodge is very contentious. Andrew's presence at the 30-room estate poses a public relations dilemma for the king, starkly contrasting his objective for a modern and efficient monarchy. For Andrew, departing from the lodge equates to relinquishing the last vestiges of his royal title. The presence of a desert castle adds an additional degree of intricacy to the narrative already compounded by the crown's unspoken ultimatum. This book unveils a society of immense private wealth and global influence that has always operated in the shadows of official royal existence. The narrative is conveyed via the viewpoints of two palaces, one in Windsor, representing an oppressive legacy, and another in Abu Dhabi, emblematic of a future he rejects. This is the story of a prince who has lost his status and is caught between a residence he cannot maintain and a refuge he refuses to embrace. The Royal Lodge is one of the last bastions of a bygone era. Royal Lodge serves not just as a residence, but also as the last vestige of the world that Prince Andrew previously inhabited. This universe was defined by ceremony privilege and an unequivocal feeling of belonging. The Grade 2 listed estate is concealed from public view by expansive lawns, winding pathways, and ancient trees that have observed centuries of royal secrets. The estate is situated inside the interior of the 78 acres of Windsor Great Park. To the average populace, it is only another asset financed by taxpayers. For Andrew, this site marks the start of his narrative, and he is resolute in his determination to prevent its conclusion. The lodge is imbued with a history that is rich in memories and has considerable personal significance. Queen Elizabeth, sometimes referred to as the Queen Mother, was renowned for her benevolence, wit, and steadfast commitment to tradition. This mansion was formerly the esteemed abode of Queen Elizabeth. She had a profound affinity for Andrew, who was often considered her most beloved grandson. During his youth, the lodge functioned as a sanctuary where he felt adoration, support, and recognition. Within its rooms, halls, and gardens, Andrew cultivated the self-assurance and magnetism that would define his early public persona. He cultivated an intrinsic belief that he had a deserved place at the core of the royal domain. He has never let that emotional influence dissipate. The lease deal he secured in 2003 after the Queen Mother's death is very unique. He paid a one-time premium of £1 million to the Crown Estate in return for a 75-year lease. The deal had a substantial stipulation he would bear the financial responsibility for the expensive repairs and upgrades required to maintain the ancient residence. The expenses for these repairs and modifications would amount to several £1,000,000. In recognition of his efforts, he was granted a rarity even among nobility permanents, a domain that is distinctly his own. Andrew secured a house that would remain his until 2078, unlike past royals who relocated between palaces according to their responsibilities or popular perception. This was a commitment that Royal Lodge would remain steadfast irrespective of global changes. It was a lifelong assurance. The arrangement was successful for many years. Andrew allegedly converted the property into an exquisite family residence, reportedly investing over £7.5 million in upgrades. The passage of time, however, reveals something that permanence cannot conceal. As public sentiment shifted, headlines became more unfavorable and instances progressed into allegations that may jeopardize a career, the lodge began to be seen differently by the public. A once significant emblem of loyalty to one's heritage now seemed to signify an uninterrupted sphere of privilege detached from the consequences faced by ordinary people. Royal Lodge exemplifies more than just aesthetic appeal for the unacquainted. A sign of a monarch who lived in age-old opulence and existed beyond the confines of customary norms. Andrew's extended residence in such opulent surroundings is seen as a defiant emblem of antiquated power, influence, and an unassailable status. This contrasts with the monarchy's attempts, now headed by King Charles, to modernize and reform for a new era. Conversely, the lodge remains everything that Andrew has. His identity, memories, and the proof of his continued affiliation with the House of Windsor are all encapsulated inside it. It has been said that relocation would just need relocating to a smaller residence, such as the neighboring Frogmore Cottage. Nevertheless, this alternative is impractical. Conversely, it would entail relinquishing the last remnants of a world that had once exalted him. It would serve as a public recognition that the prince he once embodied, the gallant naval hero, the esteemed trade envoy, and the Queen's second son, no longer exists. Consequently, life continues beyond the imposing iron gates. As a child, Andrew played on the grounds he currently frequents. He dines in the room once used by the Queen Mother for hosting her court. Although he sleeps inside, he still regards it as a protective measure. He is resolute in his decision to remain in Windsor, clinging to the only vestige that provides him with a feeling of dignity. To what degree can a deposed prince retain control over a palace that seems indifferent to his presence? If he is forced to go, does he possess any other refuge to which he may resort? A desert escape path adorned with gold is referred to as the Silent Palace. Thousands of miles from the vast forests of Windsor, in the searing heat of the Arabian desert, is a castle enveloped in utter silence. A home of stunning magnificence is located in Abu Dhabi, concealed behind a private enclave that is protected from public scrutiny and media surveillance. The house exudes opulence and sophistication at every corner, meticulously maintained by personnel affiliated with the House of Nahyan, a prominent ruling family in the Gulf. The marble halls gleam balconies intricately adorned with Islamic motifs cast shadows over carefully maintained gardens, and walled courtyards provide private sanctuaries impervious to the most intrusive gazes. These are the assertions made by those familiar with the arrangement. Estimates value the palace at many tens of millions of pounds. Nonetheless, despite its grandeur, its rooms often remain unoccupied, as if a stage awaiting a production that has yet to start. Reports indicate that this is the concealed hideaway that has been made available to Prince Andrew. Conversely, unlike Royal Lodge, The Abu Dhabi palace is not his to assert nor really own. The Emirati royal family maintains a firm control on property ownership. This is not a lasting act of altruism. Instead, it is a subtle commitment to benevolence. Although Andrew may traverse the halls and rest in the splendid chambers, he will never be able to designate this location as his home. The gift of hospitality was bestowed via the contacts and friendships cultivated over time during his tenure as the Special Representative for International Trade and Investment of the United Kingdom, which extended across the Gulf. He participated in investment conferences and often went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai from 2001 to 2011. During that period, he had extensive connections with the most prominent individuals in the region. These ties now provide an avenue and escape from the relentless scrutiny of the media, the public's outrage, and the unyielding glare of a besieged monarchy. The palace may provide him calm isolation and the exceptional luxury of escape from the headlines. It may shield him from the judgment that trails him around Windsor and London. Unlike the problems that have transformed Royal Lodge into a battleground, as well as a domicile, it has the capacity to serve as a sanctuary a world apart. Notwithstanding this, Andrew remains completely still. Due to his reluctance to pay the requisite amount for permanent entry into the palace in Abu Dhabi, he opts to refrain from doing so. The only discernible aspects of his royal identity would be relinquished with his relocation, marking a complete severance from the House of Windsor. It would be a discreet admission that the chapter of his life as a publicly engaged prince has been irrevocably concluded. It would constitute a voluntary exile. Andrew will not proceed with that phase in the process. As a result, the palace remains immaculate, tranquil, and poised. It serves as a testament to an opulence he may enjoy, but can never quite own. A realm of opulence, liberty, and obscurity awaits you. All that is required is to board a flight. Nonetheless, it is an existence that will always elude one's reach, a mirage in the illuminated desert. In this silent castle, the tale remains in suspense, a residence built for nobility, but uninhabited. A vow rendered but unacknowledged. The identity and pride of a prince tether him to the singular life he has always known, and this text subtly underscores that even the most extraordinary of escapes cannot supplant these elements. Saudi Arabia's Gulf Initiative monarchical diplomacy amidst turmoil. To understand the origins of this distinctive arrangement, it is essential to revisit the era when Prince Andrew played a crucial role in the economic diplomacy of the United Kingdom. In early December 2010, as the Middle East teetered on the brink of the Arab Spring, the prince was in New York representing the crown in a region renowned for its intricate political dynamics and controversial alliances. For him, holding the title of Special Representative for International Trade and Investment for the United Kingdom transcended mere nomenclature. It was a mission to use his royal stature to facilitate opportunities for British companies. Over the course of his term, he participated in more than 70 meetings with people who held positions of authority and leadership in the Gulf area. Within a setting in which perception and diplomacy were inextricably linked, he navigated his way through the environment. He wanted to interact with leaders who, although being essential economic partners, were often chastised by Western governments for their breaches of human rights. His goal was to engage with these leaders. His goal was to engage in conversation with these influential people. As a result of the increased scrutiny that the United Kingdom and its monarchy were subjected to on the international stage, each and every handshake and formal meal brought with it the tremendous burden of representing the country. After completing his responsibilities in New York, Andrew embarked on a trip to the United Arab Emirates, where he stayed for a period of 4 days, with the intention of enhancing the relationship between the United Kingdom and the ruling families of the UAE. It is important to note that these contacts with famous persons were not typical diplomatic gatherings. Rather, they were methodically managed and rehearsed. The lunch that Andrew had with Sheikh Surur bin Mohammed Al Nahyan, a prominent member of Abu Dhabi's royal family and a significant influence in the city's economic growth, was one of the most memorable experiences that Andrew had throughout his trip. The conversation that took place between Andrew and Sheikh Mohammed Al Nahyan is a significant occurrence. The encounter between them was a sign of goodwill and was an illustration of the complex network of personal contacts that exists between the elites of the Gulf area and the royal family of the United Kingdom. He met with Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who was the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi at the time and is now the President of the United Arab Emirates. He is often referred to as MBZ. In the course of the visit, which took place on Sunday, November 27, 2011, the interaction was the most significant event. The prince's position was made clear by the meeting that took place at Al Bateen Palace. This encounter was not just formal and personal, but also ceremonial and strategic. There were conversations regarding a variety of topics that took place inside the opulent hallways of the castle, including commercial agreements and business potential. The purpose of Andrew's presence was to demonstrate continuity, amicability, and similar interests notwithstanding the impending political upheaval that was taking place elsewhere. These travels, which are documented in public calendars but are frequently blocked from comprehensive reporting, provide a glimpse into a period of Prince Andrew's life when royal responsibility intertwined with worldwide controversy. The trust was successfully established by the painstaking maintenance of these ties, which ultimately led to the provision of a private apartment for his usage. It is common practice among the most prestigious people in the world to carry out the tradition of expressing goodwill among members of royal families. A symbol of respect for the Emirati royal family, it served as a symbol of recognition. For Andrew, it was the building of a robust safety net, despite the fact that he may not have been aware of its possible use in a variety of situations in the future. The reconstruction of Sarah Ferguson's existence, while simultaneously ensuring that her genuine identity is maintained, the Duchess of York. Sarah Ferguson is the person who now occupies the most important position inside the Royal Lodge stronghold. The fact that she continues to live in the same house as Prince Andrew, a shared habitation that intertwines their histories and shows their mutual need as well as an unspoken knowledge of their previous life together, is something that she does not take for granted. The cohabitation of the former Duchess of Cambridge with her ex-husband is a mystery to those who are not aware of the facts surrounding the situation. Not only is the layout practical and protective, but it also has a significant amount of symbolic meaning inside the 30-room mansion. The life of Sarah is a perfect illustration of the process of change, from public controversies that made her a fixture in tabloids to real charity initiatives from ventures in media to building an identity as simply Sarah Ferguson. She has continually reinvented herself throughout her life. She has gone from being a public figure who became a staple in tabloids to being a Sarah Ferguson. It has been absolutely necessary to demonstrate resiliency and the capacity to tolerate considerable criticism with each new phase that has been introduced. In spite of all that has happened, Royal Lodge has always served as her reliable anchor. Her standing and her links to a world that she had previously traversed with nobility were kept in this location, and it continues to be the constant in a life that has been defined by both victories and tragedies. This is the place where she has managed to keep her connection to the rest of the world intact. In addition to providing her with somewhere to stay, the lodge also serves to conceal her identity. She is able to keep a feeling of presence and a firm grounding in the traditions of a royal background that continues to influence her identity, even when she is surrounded by its gardens and halls. In the event that Sarah were to go, it would be something of a surrender, a recognition of the fact that her links to royal life would be severed. The attitude that Sarah Ferguson has taken on her unwillingness to go to the Gulf is unchangeable. In spite of the fact that the palace in Abu Dhabi is breathtaking and offers complete seclusion, the concept is impractical due to the high heat, the enormous distance, and the cultural isolation. It is Royal Lodge that she considers to be the only stronghold through which she can exert control over her life and her reputation. It would be the final concrete connection to the monarchy and the foundation that she has worked so hard to regain over the course of many decades, and if she were to lose it, it would reflect just that. Within the limitations of this situation, Sarah is able to maintain her relevant stability and dignity. Her unwavering presence with Andrew is a wonderful example of survival resiliency and the determination to cling to all that is important to one. There are still gaps in the story that A Bond Unbroken tells about Andrew and Sarah. Despite the fact that they divorced more than 30 years ago, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson continue to have an uncommon connection within their family. Despite the fact that time, public attention, and controversy may have caused a split between them, their connection continues to be strong. It is constructed from a shared history and a mutual understanding that is difficult for others to appreciate from a distance. Even though they are no longer together, their lives continue to be intertwined. Whenever they are going through difficult times, they are there for one another. They travel together and eat together. While attending the Bahrain Grand Prix, the former couple, who were joined by their daughter, Princess Beatrice, exhibited their exceptional connection to one another in a noticeable manner. The apparent cohesiveness and structure of the family's relationship was a natural extension of a link that remained intact in spite of the circumstances. Princess Eugenie, who is the daughter of the pair, correctly summarized their relationship by referring to them as the best divorced couple I know. This statement acknowledges a relationship that is not marked by passion, but rather by lasting respect and a strong dedication to family relationships. Sarah's tremendous respect for Andrew has been shown on several occasions. In the public statements that she made in 2019, she referred to him as a true and real gentleman, reiterating her unwavering commitment to his honesty and praising the values that he exemplifies in spite of the continuing criticism that he receives from the public. At the same time that Andrew serves as a reminder of the events that they have had in common in the past, Sarah is a constant in her life. The fact that they are still connected demonstrates that loyalty may last even after a romantic engagement has come to an end. Their peculiar connection silently persists inside the magnificent walls of Royal Lodge, a personal reality that questions the assumptions that society has about the arrangement of families. Coercion, entitlement, and the struggle for Windsor are the topics that are discussed in The Silent Ultimatum of the Monarchy. Pressure that is not overt but relentless is increasing from the center of the monarchy, and it is getting better. King Charles III, who is resolute in his mission to bring the royal institution into the 21st century, is now confronted with a situation that is both sensitive and urgent. The fact that his younger brother has been staying at Royal Lodge for a lengthy period of time is an example of the same luxury and excess that he attempts to reduce. After taking into account the current circumstances, the king is no longer in a position to reject them. The home and the notable person who lives there have been subjected to a tremendous amount of scrutiny and criticism from the general public and the media. According to the reports, Andrew needs to voluntarily resign from his position at Royal Lodge or face a legal procedure. The message has been stated in a manner that is extraordinary in definition. Because of this, the stakes are substantially higher. The expulsion of the royal family by violent means would be a divisive spectacle that would unavoidably give rise to questions about the royal family's privilege and the legal system. The effect on one's reputation would be very devastating to that person. When it comes to legal concerns, Prince Andrew is provided protection to some degree. The Crown Estate, and not the monarch, is the party that is legally responsible for the lease, which is for a period of 75 years. Removing him from his position by coercion would be an expensive and difficult endeavor, and it would most certainly result in a drawn-out judicial struggle. There is no way for the Crown to make a snap decision. Nonetheless, the palace has launched a fight of attrition against its foes. There are reports that the king has decreased Andrew's yearly payment of £249,000. This money was used by the prince to finance the enormous expenditures associated with maintaining the castle. There are reports that imply that Andrew is having a difficult time covering the estimated yearly maintenance cost of $400,000, let alone the current bill for roof repairs that was just £2 million. The reason for this is because Andrew does not have this income. In the event that he fails to maintain the property in accordance with the terms of his lease agreement, he may be considered to be in violation of contract. The legal grounds that are necessary to terminate the agreement would be accessible to the Crown as a result of this. A high-stakes chess match is now taking place when there is complete silence. Each and every movement is deliberate, and each and every quiet is intentionally chosen. Not only does Andrew's protracted stay intensify the tension, but it also has an effect on a monarchy that is struggling with issues of familial loyalty, legal restraints, and the unrelenting scrutiny of contemporary society. The Royal Lodge, which was once a place of habitation, has been converted into a battlefield where power, identity, and survival are being discussed. In spite of the fact that there is only one unclear conclusion, the conclusion is that there are two dwellings. A stalemate that is both heated and unarticulated characterizes the present environment of the royal family. The Royal Lodge, which is a bastion of privilege and obstinacy, functions as the organization's central nerve center. There is a gorgeous property in Abu Dhabi that stands as a mute witness to a life of avoidance that has not been given the opportunity to be chosen. Geographically speaking, it is located in a different part of the world. At the moment, the House of York has adopted a lifestyle that is generally more modest. While Prince Andrew, Sarah Ferguson, and their daughters maneuver with caution, they are painfully aware that the external conditions are changing in ways that are incompatible with the defenses of the castle where they are located. The Royal Lodge continues to be a symbol of breaking the rules. In the absence of his presence, the House of Windsor would have made progress, which would be shown by his departure. The palace in Abu Dhabi, on the other hand, is the very definition of seclusion. In order for him to open himself up to that life, he will have to give up the identity that he is so dedicated to protecting. There is a situation that is becoming worse every month that sits between the two extremes of retreat and resistance. Will Andrew voluntarily give up when he finally gives in to the stress that his family's expectations put on him? On the other hand, would he be compelled to go into voluntary exile, a choice that will be determined by the Crown and the conditions that are now in place? The resolution of a property dispute by the provision of a response alone is inadequate. The settlement of a long-running struggle about identity and legacy will be determined by the events that take place in the future. Until the time comes when the scandal is revealed, it will continue to be a dominant topic of discussion. It will be there in every news article and reverberate throughout the corridors of Westminster. The stakes are very high, the tension is at an all-time high, and the tale is not even close to being finished. When it comes to the House of Windsor, the problem that they are now facing is not whether or not a change will take place. Rather, the question is when it will take place, and at what cost to the family, its traditions, and the basic ideals that were established when the modern monarchy was established. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.